everyone, my name is Martin and welcome to another great edition of MP Astro. Now, over the years, astronomy has evolved rapidly, and it all started from goto telescopes that are mounts that are computer controlled. We've got CCDs or CMOS Astro cameras that can take awesome images, and we even got really intelligent smart telescopes that now you can just switch it on, control your phone through an app, and you can take great images with these smart telescopes. And now we've got introduction of AI, which to me it's a two-edged sword. And don't get me wrong, AI does enable us to create some awesome images using AI. The telescope's now controlled by AI. You don't really need to think. You literally just switch it on and let the AI do the work for you. Now, don't get me wrong, we can learn a lot through AI, but I think it's get to a point where we're relying too much on this technology that I feel, as an Astro community, I think, this is my opinion, okay? I'm not going to influence anyone else against AI and all that, but you keep your opinions to yourself. But for me, AI does enable us to encourage people into astronomy and helps them to learn the night sky. But sometimes I feel that AI seems to take over a lot of things, and to the point where it makes astronomy too easy. Now, it seems old-fashioned for me to say that, but over the years, astronomers didn't rely on AI. They relied on their own knowledge, using star maps. They learned the sky that way by identifying constellations, doing polar alignment by themselves, using the basic equipment they have. And even just to take astrophotos was a real challenge. But by then, people were very skillful. People could actually think on their feet. And to be honest with you, this technology we got now, I feel that in this Astro community, we're relying too much of this technology to the point where we're not thinking for ourselves. We're not actually learning this night sky properly, in a way. So this is my opinion. I'm sure that there will be loads of people or loads of viewers will be putting down the hate or unlike button, don't like what I have to say about it. I've got mixed feelings about it, but I think we're abusing it to a point where the astronomy is no longer going to be fun anymore. It's going to be more of a luxury where people have no real challenges. And yeah, it's a difficult subject to discuss, because there are things where I think AI has helped the hobby, and there's certain things where I feel that AI is tarnishing it, particularly in astrophotography, where you have someone who will capture an image using the basic equipment, processing and stacking that software. Yes, you're using computer software, but the art comes to form when you're using post-processing software to create your own work. There are programs out there that AI literally takes that away, and you could literally process an image through AI, and it's sort of like, is this believable or not? Is this a real image that someone actually captured, or is this just AI? And we get to a point where there's a lot of people go, I get fed up with this, and I'm one of them, where you have one guy or one girl or someone who has spent many hours processing the image, capturing that data, processing that image, and realizing that there's a guy next door or whatever is using AI to get his images, and they can just do it like that. And I think it's a bit of a to be honest with you. And I think it's ruined the hobby, but that's my opinion, that's my thoughts. So in this video, I've come to a conclusion as like I've done I'm a bit old-fashioned. I have learned through the years, don't get me wrong, I've had go-to telescopes, I've used software editing programs, I've got dedicated Astro cameras. I have got that, but you still got to have a level of skill involved to getting your equipment right. This is not just a smart telescope where you can switch it on and then you can capture data straight away. I do like the idea of smart telescopes because I think it does get newcomers, the beginners, into astronomy and gets them to progress more. And I've looked over the years and I've used go-to telescopes, cameras and all that. However, there is one particular thing that's interested me over the years. Now, I have done a lot of visual observation using Dobsonian telescopes, viewing for normal refractor, Newtonian telescopes, you name it. I've got a lot of telescopes that I've used for visual. But there's one thing that really got me, and it was the subject of manual guiding. Now, we rely too much on the technology that much that auto guiding is done by a computer through a camera, then controlled by a computer which then controls the EQ mount. Many years ago, I was born in the late 70s, and there was a process, even though I was an 80s child, growing up throughout the years. During this time, auto guiding during that time was during its infancy. During that time, auto guiding was a completely new technology. Go-to telescopes were just about to get introduced in the early 90s, and auto guiding started to evolve and start taking away all the pain, the stresses that's involved in getting a telescope set up to take astrophotos. And auto guiding was a new technology that enabled amateur astronomers and professional astronomers to able to take astro images without the process of manual guiding. Now, in this video, I'm going to try and undertake this manual guiding, and it is a skill. I heard it's not very easy to do, but in this video, I'm going to try and show you and demonstrate what manual guiding is all about. And the whole purpose of this video is to make you understand that with the benefit of the technology that we got nowadays, to just show to you how lucky we are now compared to people back then in the 70s, 60s, 50s. Manual guiding was in its infancy, and even in the 1800s there was no such thing. In the 1900s or 1800s, there was no such thing as auto guiders and computers. There were still gear-driven equatorial mounts that are mechanically driven by hand. They did have motors, but that was usually for the professional observatories that had them. Then they were powered by motor-driven mechanical parts that are either clock-driven, or they probably use steam or a diesel engine or something to power the motors on the equatorial mount. But this is a long time ago, and back then the astronomers had to manual guide their setup by hand, focusing on a star for long periods of time, and they were lucky to get an image. They use obviously old film templates, that like little like slates that they use that are light sensitive, and they basically use like a pinhole camera attached to a telescope to then focus on a star, track the star manually to manual guide their setup to produce a long exposure image. And that's what really got me going, really got me thinking and go, if people did that so many years ago, if people did that a long time ago and achieved some reasonable results, that is a true art form of astrophotography. And it's got me going that I want to try this manual guiding out myself. And why not? There's going to be a fair few viewers that are going to slate me for this, because Well, why should you do that? Why are you going backwards when you should be going forwards into technology? And my advice, well, what I'm going to say to you, to people that are so technology gurus out there, I like to go back in time, and I want a challenge in astronomy. That's what keeps me going. I like challenges. I'm an 80s child, right? I'm a Gen X, and the thing is, I like challenges, right? If it's not a challenge, then what's the point, right? Why do you keep on fighting? You know what I mean? Challenges are there to make you realise, you know, how hard life is, right? Without challenges, you know, we don't appreciate life more, all right? And this is the thing, and I want to do this manual guiding because it's a lost art in astrophotography. So, before we start this video, please hit the like button. And again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to share this video out, because if this does pull off, maybe manual guiding could work out for a lot of people. Yes, you're not going to get awesome results compared to an auto guiding system mount with computer control. I'm not going to achieve massive results, but again, if you're a person who's got just starting out with modest equipment, this can be achievable. All right. The other thing is, please don't forget to hype this video. Again, it's a new thing from YouTube. By hyping this video will help to push out this video more. Alright, and again, the hype button is down where the like button is. Just scroll along, you'll see the hype. Just click on the hype. Just helps my video beat through the algorithm. Alright, at the moment, like I say, I'm still a small channel, but I don't really care, because I care about the passion of the astronomy, the hobby itself, and I just want to show my ideas of astronomy in my own world. And like I say, don't forget to hit the bell, scroll up, select all, and I'll keep you notified for any new videos. So to that on, if you want to find out more about this manual guiding, and if I can do it, please keep watching and let's do this. As you can see here, this is the EQ5 mount. It is the same setup, exactly the same. It's just that with this one it has goto. This one, however, is just a basic equatorial mount. There is no motor drives. There is literally no goto motor drives, no computer. It still has the same components as that one. The only difference is it does have a polar scope built in, and it has slow motion controls from the RA and to the deck axis. Now you can pick these up. Skywatcher do issue slow motion controls, alright? But the problem with those, they're too short. So you can buy these from First Light Optics or Rubber Valley Optics. They sell these for £25. These long, they're about 10 inches long or 12 inches long, alright, and they're just a very simple solution of manual guiding. You need these to be able to track or manual track the stars with these, okay? These are the ones you want, £25, and you can attach them on there, and they simply just screw on there onto the actual worm drive shaft, alright, like so, and that's it. They're simple to fit. These are going to be the better ones, because reason why, because of the long extension, you're not going to be touching them out, right? So all you're doing is you're going to slowly track the stars by hand, and you're not interfering with the mount. So I don't know if this is going to work or not, but this is the only way with this mount that I'm going to be able to manual track. Now, this is a second-hand EQ5 mount. I bought this from eBay with the polar scope, with the counterweight, and the slow motion controls came with it as well. This mount was in bad condition. So, like always, I stripped her out, cleaned all the parts, and I had to then do the re-greasing and do a lot of work to it. Some of the bolts here was stripped, just particularly that one. Alright, so I basically put a bigger thread of M10. So I've re-threaded the casing on there and put a bigger M10 on there. So there, because these were bent, these bolts, and it was in a bad state. But I paid less than £200 for this mount. Less than £200. The only thing that was costing me more was the posting. Okay, but it's not a lot of money. There are a lot of these mounts out there in the market. This is a normal conventional mount. There's no bells and whistles. There's no computer stuff. All there is you have your basic RA and deck axes, slew ring attached to a worm drive, and then you have just simple hand movements like that. Right? There is no bells and whistles. It's a bog standard equatorial mount, and then we've got the polar scope, which we'll go into detail. Now, the existing polar scope it came with, it was okay, but to be honest with you, I'm going to recommend a much better polar scope for this. So that is the setup. It is on the 400mm PA extension, because to be honest with you, I like to sit down. But to be honest with you, when you're doing pole alignment, it's a lot easier if the mount is raised up higher, so that you don't need to bend your neck over to align Polaris. So I want it on a PS system like that, so I can stand up because I'm quite tall, and I'm going to able to manual track like it is there. Some people say, well, why don't you just do it sitting down? It really just depends. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to do it standing up, right? It might not be. It might make things much more difficult for me, but this is a challenge, right? This is a really tough challenge. But to be honest with you, I'm going to learn through it and see what we can get. So that's all you need. A decent equatorial mount like this that's got a reasonable payload. I won't say this is a fantastic payload. There was another mount that I did want, but it was very pricey, and that was I think it was the Bresser EOX, it was the Bresser EOX 2. That is a similar built mount to that, but with a better payload. I think the payload was like 12 kilograms, I believe. But there's not many around, and they're very hard to get. Usually you have to buy them brand new, and again, it was a conventional mount. There's no bells and whistles on the EOX 2, and even that, it's got better bearings on the deck axis as well as the RA axis, and it has slow motion controls as well. But again, it's like almost £500 for a conventional mount, and they're very hard to get second hand. There was one second hand, but I missed out that opportunity. And again, eBay is a weird thing, because sometimes you search for stuff and you'll miss out on certain items. So I managed to get this one. It was in a bit of a bad state, but I managed to save her, get her refurbed, and now she's back nice and smooth, fully greased up, cleaned up, and she's ready to go. Alright, so that's all you need mount wise. That's a good thing about manual guiding. You don't need stupid computers, smart telescopes, or technology involved. There's no computer, just pure conventional type stuff, really basic. When things are basic, particularly if you've got a power cut or whatever, you can still able to use this mount regardless. Alright? And that's what I'm trying to get, is we're trying to move away from this AI computer aided stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do like the technology, but I do miss out on the real conventional stuff that we need to maintain. We need to maintain that skill, alright, of actually using this basic equipment. So that's all you need. You don't, obviously you can buy this brand new without no motor drives for about £326 for a brand new one. Alright, again, maybe a lot of money for some people. But again, that £326, it's a basic equatorial mount. I believe that Skywatcher now include the polar scope. I'm not too sure, but I hope they do, because this setup here is nothing without the polar scope. And again, some people will still mock me saying, why are you using a polar scope? And again, I want to move away from computer technology for a change. So that's all you need. So the next one you're going to need is the more important polar scope. Now, some mounts have a polar scope built in, but the old type that I got, it had the old with a plough and octons constellation. All right, I replaced that with the new HM5 polar scope. Now, the reason why I replaced the polar scope, the HM5 polar scope is the better one. It's much more accurate. It's a clock face system, and as you can see, as we take a closer look, you may be able to see the reticle. So as you can see there, there's the reticle. Basically, it's a clock face system like that. All right, very simple to do. All right, you just align Polaris within that clock face system. This is priced around about £24 to about £30, depending where you go, where you buy it. I bought mine from First Light Optics, and it's a very good polar scope. I use this type of HM5 polar scope on all my mounts, including the NEQ6 mount. All my mounts and my HEQ5 mount have got this type of polar scope. Believe it or not, this is that accurate. If you get that reticle lined up, you do not need to use, there's a lot of programs that you can use. People will use Pole Master, you know, people use a lot of these polar scope alignment tools, software. If you get that reticle spot on, your tracking's going to be amazing. All right, really is crucial to get that reticle adjusted properly, and it does take time. You have these screws here, these tiny little screws that need to be adjusted, and yes, I have done 1 or 2 videos based upon that. Please check them out on the EQ5 Super Tune and the NEQ6 Super Tune. I highlight how to adjust your polar scope reticle. If you get that adjusted properly and central square, so that you can align with Polaris and it doesn't move out of that the actual clock face, and you get it perfect, you do not need software. You really don't need it. You don't need pole alignment software, because this is just as good. And to be honest with you, I have got a pole camera, polar scope, pole master here that I use as well. Don't get me wrong, that's also very accurate. But again, we're using computers here. Here we're using skill. We're using traditional methods. 3 alignment screws adjacent to 120 degrees, and you're aligning the reticle. It's very crucial. If you get that right on this polar scope, you do not need to do it again. As long as you're careful with the mount, this will stay aligned for a very, very long time. All right. It's basically, once you adjust it and it's square along your R8 axis, and as long as Polaris remains in the clock face around that reticle, you can achieve amazing guiding results. No guiding is any better than polar alignment. If your polar alignment is spot on, if it's that good, you will only need to move in one axis if it's that good. You may need to use the deck now and again, but usually if your polar alignment is that good, you will only need to be required to move in one axis, and that's the RA axis. That is the one that always constantly moves all the time. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm acting like I'm acting like a motor drive. I am the motor drive, right? And I'm using my hand, and they're literally doing slow turnings like that. Very slow turnings. Again, this is going to be very, very tricky because I don't know exactly what sort of speed I need to undertake to achieve decent tracking to able to capture an astro photo. So as you can see, it's not a very good image that I've got there. I can only get the camera so far into the polescope, but as you can see there, we've got the clock face reticle on the HM5 polescope, and as I mentioned before, previously in my last videos, you want to achieve that reticle to be central on your target. Now as you can see here, we've got the 40 sign, the speed limit sign, which is an ideal target for me to adjust my polescope reticle. And again, I adjusted it within those 3 screws, and what you're hoping to achieve is you slacken the R8 axis and you want to rotate that reticle so that that reticle main target remains in view of that sign. As you can see there, that reticle is bang on, just about. I just need to adjust it slightly a bit more from the look of it, but as I'm rotating the R8 axis 360 degrees, that target that I focus on stays central, and that's what you want. If you can achieve that, you're in a very good position to get some really good guiding. As long as you achieve that reticle pinpoint, if you can move, all right, we're going to move the left and right from left to right. If you can move it, and the purpose of this is if you can move that reticle along, as we see here, right, so we've got it lined up along that clock face, and what you want to achieve is rotate. If I just move it slightly so you can see, there we go. If you can rotate the entire clock face like that, as you can see there, all the way around, alright, that reticle is good to go. So I'm rotating it 360 degrees all the way around, and as you can see, that reticle is nicely central along that speed limit sign. So the next thing you're going to need if you want to do manual guiding is this. What I've got here is it's a basic travel scope from Celestron. This is the 70mm, and this is going to be my main guide scope. And the whole idea, as you can see here, I've got a red dot finder so I can line up a star to the main tube. Here I just have a normal bog standard mirror diagonal, and this is going to be where I'm going to use, obviously look through, find my guide star and guide with that guide star. Now this is a very simple design. You don't need an expensive refractor, but refractors tend to be an ideal guide scope if you want to manual guide. Now this guide scope is a 70mm refractor. You can use smaller refractors like a 60mm or 50mm, as long as you can guide, obviously mounted with scope rings like this, on a dovetail. This will be self-explanatory how that is mounted, but you just need a basic refractor, no bells and whistles, but this is basically your guide scope which you're going to use to focus on a guide star by eye using the mirror diagonal. You can use a straight throw to achieve focus. And with this being 400mm, I really want it longer. And this has got an f ratio of f5.7, but the f ratio is not important, it's the focal length. So to achieve a longer focal length, my telescope I'm going to use is the 102 Refractor, and that's got a focal length of 500mm as well. This is not an ideal scope because the rule of thumb is if you're whatever telescope you're imaging. So if I've got a telescope that I'm imaging through my camera is 500mm, I really need to double the focal length of this telescope. So one way to do that is use a Barlow lens. So use a 2x Barlow lens, and that in theory will increase your focal length, which is double. Okay, so using a Barlow lens you can get around it. Ideally you want a long focal length refractor, ideally something that's 800mm or more. So if I'm using a 500mm telescope, for example, focal length with my camera, I will need 1000mm more for my Guidescope. Because I don't have a long focus refractor, and the other thing is using a long focal refractor, it makes it much more cumbersome. Being so much longer can cause a few problems, particularly on my EQ5 mount. So I have balancing issues and stuff like that. So one way I'm going to use is the Barlow lens. That Barlow lens will act to double the focal length of this telescope to 800mm. So the Barlow lens will give me that. All it does will increase the magnification as well as the focal length. So the reason why using the longer focal length is that if you use higher magnification on stars, you can see the stars drift. And the whole purpose is, as you're looking through the eyepiece on your Guidescope, is you need to align that star to remain central. So and basically you're auto guiding in a way. You're using your motor drives, or you're using your slow motion controls to guide, looking through the eyepiece and looking through the guide star at high magnification, and you're correcting the mount with the slow motion controls, particularly the RA axis is the one you need to constantly move, is to remain that target in view of your Guidescope. And the one way you can do that is get yourself one of these. This is a 12.5mm, and if it's a 12.5 illuminated reticle. Now, as you can see, it's got a reticle inside with a crosshair, and here you will have where the target sign actually illuminates at night. I don't know if you can see that, I don't think the camera will show it up, but there is a reticle inside that lights up at night, and it's basically like a red crosshair. Alright, this is the device you're going to need to manual guide. Without this, you can't check if the stars are drifting either way, so you can correct them out. You need this to be able to achieve manual guiding. This is where most astronomers would use, back then, many years ago, they would use this kind of device. So that they can be able to guide the guide star using this reticle. This reticle eyepiece is definitely a crucial item if you want to achieve that. Unfortunately, you have to buy it. You can buy this from Skywatcher. The cost of between £40 to about £50. It's a very useful tool, and it can be used for a lot of applications. But actually, its sole purpose was actually designed for manual guiding. So it's a simple device, and this is a very crucial component, as well as your guide telescope, is one of these. And it's simply this device can just fit onto the telescope, on your guide telescope, and you slot this reticle eyepiece onto the eyepiece holder. Alright, it doesn't matter which way you want to orientate it. Alright, and you basically switch on your reticle at night, focus on a star. Once you focus, you then manual guide, looking through this reticle eyepiece, and you basically move the mount with the slow motion controls by hand, keeping the star at the centre of the crosshair. It is that simple, apparently. So then, everyone, this is it. This is my complete manual guided telescope layout. And as you can see, we've got the travel scope with the mirror, with a two times Barlow lens, and then the reticle eyepiece. Okay, that will give me an effective focal length of 800mm. As you can see, I'm using the Star Travel 102 super tuned refractor. Again, if you've not seen that video, please check it out. Right, I have done a video to modify this ST102 refractor. Now, believe it or not, this refractor is pretty awesome. It is an achromat. It's a basic achromat refractor, nothing special. But the purpose of this video is I want to use the fastest refractor I've got. As you can see here, I'm using the 0.8 times focal reducer from SVBONY. This will shorten the focal length from 500mm down to 400mm. And this is my main telescope tube connected to the camera. So I'll be capturing the images through this telescope whilst I'm guiding by eye, using the reticle eyepiece by hand, controlling the mount. That is the setup. Reasons why I'm using this achromat refractor, because with that focal reducer, the 0.8 times focal reducer, will speed up the telescope to f ratio 3.9. With the 400mm focal length, as I mentioned, you have to double the focal length of your Guidescope. Now, I wouldn't advise using a long focal length telescope, because that means your images, you have to capture a lot more time to gather that amount of data. So I would say use a Newtonian reflector or a very fast refractor. Try and get something that's f5 or below, something that's really fast at collecting the light. With that focal reducer and field flattener from SVBONY, f3.9 with that 400mm focal length, I will gather the actual amount of light as possible. So before we start doing manual guiding, it's a good idea to get focused and target on a terrestrial object. And as you can see, we're focused on a sign through the main scope. So it's crucial that you get your red dot finder or finder scope aligned with the main scope onto that sign, and also make sure that if you've got a red dot finder here, get that aligned with your main scope for your Guidescope. You may have to adjust your scope rings to get it in place, so you move the scope rings in place, and as you can see, as we focus in, there is that sign. So as you can see for the reticle, you can see the reticle there. We're focused, the Guidescope with the reticle and our main scope there, okay, all in place. That is now aligned, ready to go for manual guiding for tonight, hopefully. So then everyone, here it is, our manual guiding system. And as you can see, I've just done a rough sort of alignment to the north of the mount, and if we take a closer look, we've leveled the tripod as well, so the mount should be okay. So it's all touch and go at the moment. The skies are still a bit cloudy, may get a clearing, but this is an ideal opportunity. If there's a bit of a clear gap, that's a good thing about this setup. Once I get my pole alignment squared away, it's a case of finding a gap in the sky, and the good thing about this system is I can move the mount
you know, straight away to the target I want to wish to have a look, or I'll capture the image. And that's the good thing about this. You don't need to line up any two stars, which is a good thing. You're not relying on power to the mount because there isn't any. The only power is you controlling the slow motion controls. The only power to consider is the camera. So obviously, well, so I'm taking pictures and all that, that's fine. But so far, there's a bit of a clearing. Even if I just get a bit of a clearing, it's better than nothing, because at least I can get to test it out. Obviously, I'll be probably taking an easy shot at something like probably Andromeda Galaxy or the Great Orion Nebula. Yes, they're easy targets, but they're also very easy targets, not just to locate, but it's the easy targets where they've got a lot of bright stars. So I don't really need to fiddle around too much on the Guidescope. Hi everyone, we've got a bit of a clearing, and we're going to test out the manual guiding. And as you can see, I'm already polar aligned from a polar scope. That is very crucial to get that spot on. And that HM5 clock face is really good. You can get the Skywatcher app and it tells you the location of the pole star position. So I'm polar aligned. I've already focused using my Guidescope mask on a bright star. What I'm going to do is, because I've got the light battering against my face, we're actually going to try this out and see how it works. So far I would recommend getting a remote handset so you can operate the DSLR camera to set yourself the exposure. I've set this at ISO 800 and I'm just going to go for 10 seconds exposure time. Obviously you won't be able to see what I'm taking, so I will pick up my mobile phone and show you what I got as well whilst I'm recording this camera. Right, wish me luck guys and girls and everyone. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on Antares. Alright, it's a bright, in fact no, we'll go for Capella. Capella is quite reasonable, quite easy to locate, so we'll go for Capella. I was going to go for Vega, but Vega seems to be, it is high up in the sky, which is great, but the one thing is the RE axis is on the other side. So I have tried to track that, but because that's the disadvantage of the slow motion controls being on that side, I have to swap the controls on the other side. So that's something I've noticed already. So yeah, it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to point straight to Vega. In fact, we'll point straight to Capella. Okay, we set our red dot finder and we've got the recticle eyepiece already on. Alright, all the dust caps removed. We're just going to focus on Capella. So, right, we're going to move the mount, and again, no motor drives, just straight on it. And we're heading towards Capella. What I also find is use your DSLR camera, live view, that also helps as well. So we're just going to move the mount, okay, roughly where Capella could be. Alright, so we're not quite there, so I'll use the slow motion controls. I'll lock these clutches in. Right, I can now get access with the RE axis. Right, so I'm just going to move the mount towards Capella. Again, it's very hard when I've got the camera light against my face because I'm going to lose my night vision. So, but I'm doing this to show you guys and girls that I'm not blagging the case when I'm doing work like this. Alright, so I'm just lining up Capella. Capella should be within reach. And again, I'm using live view now this time. Okay, so once you've got Capella in situ, like so, for the viewfinder, you can switch off live view. And then what I'm going to do is, now I've noticed the Guidescope's on the opposite side, so I have to rotate this round so I can see. This is very difficult actually, very difficult. See if I can get Capella into view. Okay. It's a lot awkward than I expected. Okay, goes the reticle. Goes the playing ball. Again, this is real astronomy. This is very difficult. Okay, the reticle is still not playing ball. Great. That's not good news. Hold on. Let's see what the problem is. It's getting cold, you see. Alright. So the battery or the connection. Also, I'm trying to sort this out, like so. There we go. Right, we've got the reticle working now. I think it's just a bit of dew that's got in there. So I adjust the reticle illumination. I'm not going to go too much in depth of the orientation or whatever, but I want to get somehow practicing on a bright star. So Capella's a good little star to start off with. Once I've got it in the live view, I can then begin to line the Guidescope in position. Okay. Wow, that star is moving very fast. I was not expecting this. So I'm moving the RA axis. Right, I've got it roughly in the centre of the view. If it's not, you'll have to adjust it from the scope rings to try and get it in centre of view. But as long as you get it in the camera sensor, you should be fine. So we switch her off. We've got Capella. And ideal situation, if you are polar line, you should only be using RA from time to time. And guess what? Despite me lining up the star, we just had a passing cloud. Great. Oh man. See what I mean, guys and girls and everything? It is actually hard to do. And just had a passing cloud and I couldn't see Capella. It's just how it is. But the concept is, as long as you get that camera in the centre using live view to get that roughly where that star is, and then line it up with that crosshair, alright, you can able to start capturing. But at the moment, this passing cloud is causing havoc. So I'm just wondering what else I could do then, because at the moment it's not perfect sky conditions, but it's good for me because I'm not losing valuable imaging time. All I see is it's a good opportunity to start practicing on manual guiding. It's just the way it is. It's not easy when I got that light in front of me because I'm trying to look at the sky and all that. Maybe if I try another star, maybe that will help. So if I try and line up another star, again, I'll move the mount up, use the red dot finder. I mean, I'm just locating on any other star that hopefully it will appear on the finder scope as well, on the Guidescope as well. Right, this is just a random star. I don't know without looking out for the map. Right, so I've got a star in position. It's not brilliant. Okay, it's not brilliant. I'm just trying to center it into the crosshair. This is very difficult. Right, so I've got it in the camera position. I'm now going to start the camera. start taking the shot, and the whole idea is to keep that star that you found in position. So I'll start the timer. So I'll start the timer. Where's the remote timer? Right. Wow, this star is moving very fast. So I'll start the timer. Starting now. I no idea, I've got trying to get 10 seconds. So keeping that star in the crosshair. Wow, that's a lot of work. Hold on, let me just cancel that. Wow, that was only 10 seconds exposure, and already I was struggling to try and keep track of that star. That star was moving very fast. So I'm just gonna use my camera phone to show you what I got. Okay, it's not going to be great, but I'm just going to take the live shot. I'm just going to, so I've got the camera on my mobile phone. Hopefully you see that on the DSLR. So that was the last shot I'd taken. It was the other one, this one. As you can see, I will just focus on any star. I don't know what it is in particular. Oh crikey, that is not bad. That's not bad at all. I have got a bit of drifting. It looks like it was a slight drift that I moved with the RE a bit more. So either I was moving too fast or whatever. But that's not bad. The stars aren't brilliant. The big major star is okay, but like when you zoom in, you can see the tracking errors there. So I was slightly out. So overall, that's actually not a bad result. This is just a random star, and as you can see. Wow, that is pretty good. 10 seconds exposure, and I have got mild tracking things. So it just shows you how hard that really is. It really is very hard. This is not easy. This is not easy at all. I mean, I'm so glad we've got auto guiding. But yeah, you can see the tracking errors there. The big bright star there. Not brilliant, but it's better than what I've seen anyway. But yeah, as you can see there, obviously this camera can't see it, but you saw it on my other camera here, on my camera phone. I did get some mild sort of star trailing, and that was pretty hard, to be honest with you. Very hard. And like I say, I had to. The thing is, you've got to figure out how would you turn the RE axis. Just don't forget, where I live, the stars and all that move from all the way from east to west. So they obviously moves sort of that way across the sky, and it just depends on your location. But I've noticed you tend to turn the RE axis a lot more. You've got to do it constant, but you've got to do it like slow sort of motion to try and keep in line in that the recticle on your Guidescope. As long as you try and keep it central. But I must admit, it moves incredibly fast. Using that 2x Barlow lens, it's a lot. It's pretty tricky, really is. The live view does help you, and the remote for your camera helps massively, because you're not touching the camera or the camera body or the telescope. The main focus is, as long as you keep away from the tripod legs when you're moving around, use the slow motion controls, right? That should be the only things you'd be touching. But yeah, that is very difficult, and that was just 10 seconds exposure time. It really is very hard. But 10 seconds, I think I'm really pushing it here, guys and girls and everyone. What can I say? It's not the perfect night, but it is hard. It is extremely hard. But like I say, people were doing this for such a long time. It really is. It is a real challenge. I tell you what now. But I'm glad I've undertaken it. But I need to do more practice, because I mean 10 seconds and I got mild drift. That's not too bad. But don't forget, that is only one image that I've taken, and it's not enough to, you know, ideally you want to start capturing a lot of data to be able to stack a decent image. But this is the other thing, is with auto guiding, it enables you to able to guide the telescope mount using a computer software and guide camera connected to a Guidescope or off-axis guider, and you won't believe how much easier it is with auto guiding. It really is. However, this method, wow, I say it's possible, but it's not easy. It really isn't. It really isn't. And I've just tried it quite a few attempts on Vega, not so great. We've just done a random star. We've got Capella. Maybe we'll try that. So we'll try Capella. I would say focus on the brightest stars first, so you can get used to the controls and stuff like that. So what we do is we locate Capella. Again, I'm using the clutches, I'm not using any motor drives. I'm just taking this through, like so. Use the red dot finder to roughly get where I need to go. Alright, so I've got Capella roughly there. I'll use the live view as well, just to cheat a bit. And there we go, we've got Capella there. You might not see it through this camera, but we have got it. So what we do, also I'll get my mobile phone so you can see where Capella is. I'm not bluffing the case, alright. So switch it on the camera. And as you, also I'll switch it on the camera, right there. So as you can see now, I'm recording now. We've got Capella there into the camera. I just need to move it in position to the center. Okay, using my RA axis, and move the deck a bit. Yeah, so we've got Capella there. So I'll stop filming that on my smartphone. We'll now begin to take the exposure. I'm using the remote, take off live view to reduce noise. Okay, I'll just get Capella roughly where I want. Okay. Okay, so starting exposure on remote. Right, we're taking a shot. I'm constantly moving the RA axis. Okay, so I'll cancel the shot. I've just cancelled it. I'll go to my mobile phone now. Okay, I'm going to start the video. Right, so video's on my phone. We'll just have a look. Hold on, baby. Wow, much better. Wow, we've got Antes. The stars are nice and sharp. And if we zoom in, you see we've got a little bit of, come on, focus camera, come on, Why is it when this, you know, your camera smartphone decides to play up, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got a slight hint of trailing, but Capella itself is relatively round. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on, let me just get off that. Right, let's just go back to that again. There's Capella in the centre, just about. Capella is quite nice. That's 10 seconds exposure. As you can see there, the stars, the shorter stars have got slight trailing. But yeah, slight trailing. But just cancel that. So stop the recording. As you can see there, we've got Capella nice and round, but I've still got a little bit hint of trailing. So 10 seconds exposure, you've got to try and keep that camera, try and keep that Guidescope and the reticle as much as you can. If I'm struggling at 10 seconds, maybe I need to lower, maybe I need to go down to about 5 seconds or something like that, something a little bit manageable and easier. But probably one way I could do it is up the ISO, get as much sensitivity, but also try and get it so that I can get the so like I said, I've got to try my best here. It really is very hard to do. So 10 seconds exposure is very hard to do, but I must admit, yeah, it's difficult. What I will do is I'll try a different target probably. Maybe I'll try Andromeda Galaxy. Maybe I can get that. So see if I can locate that. Now Andromeda Galaxy would be quite high up, so hopefully it might make it easier for me to find it. Again, I've got the white light against me, and it's not ideal. Ideally, I want to keep away from that. Like I said, white light ruins your vision. But I'm trying to locate Andromeda Galaxy, because it should be an easy target to capture. But hopefully I can get it in the camera view. Might not be, but I should really be able to capture that. But it is very difficult. I think I've got it there. Again, this white light is ruining me my night vision, so it's very difficult. I'll try it. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to lie to you, everyone. This is very difficult. I noticed that the slow motion controls can also get in the way as well. I've noticed. But again, I'm trying to find. I can't see any stars that can identify. Yeah, this is very hard, guys. Very hard. And the high magnification through the 70mm is quite difficult. I'm going to struggle here, guys. I set the exposure, maybe I can. I noticed the fainter stars, the reticle, I have to probably dim down the reticle a bit more. so that the stars are not taken up, you know, dimmed down. So wow, this is so hard. Thank God we got auto guiding and some of the software. Wow, this is not easy. I said this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've done a lot of things in astronomy, but this is actually the hardest I've ever done. Right, it's really difficult. I can't get to a view of that. I might need to try and do an easy target because the light I've got there is in the way. I know Andromeda Galaxy is up there. Yeah, it's up there, but it's I think what I might do is I probably might dim down that. Maybe that will help. You just won't be able to see very well. Maybe make it manageable for me. It's helped a bit, but I need to get readjust my eyes again to find it. Use the slow motion controls. Yeah, it's even that light is still disrupting me. I need to go for an easier target, I think. Hold on, wait a second. We've got Pleiades. We'll try that. Yeah, it's an open star cluster. It's not quite a DSO as such, but it is a star cluster, and that will help. So what I'll do is I'll use Pleiades. It's a lot brighter, and you'll get to see the actual Pleiades itself. So I'll move over now. Right, I'm back again, guys. I just had to have a toilet break. I don't usually doing poses. I like to get people to see exactly what I'm actually doing. So what I'll do is we'll focus on Pleiades. All right. Well, that's just taking a picture for some reason. Let me just cancel that. Right. So we're back on, and we're going to focus on Pleiades. The good beauty about this setup is that you can move the telescope effortlessly, find the target you want to view, alright, and pick your target and just just chip at it. Don't know why there's fireworks in late November. That's a bit baffling. Why there's fireworks at this time? Really, it's no longer 5th of November. But hey, I'm just lining up. Just move this out of the way. Just line up Pleiades. There we go, we've got her on the camera. Now Pleiades is a good target to practice on. Yeah, it's a simple, easy target to identify. And the beauty about it, there's loads of stars as well, so there's really loads of stars. So it's a great way to do some manual guiding on that. So I'll just angle the recticle. The good thing about using the refractor, I've got a wide field of view, so if I'm not quite in the centre, alright, just pick a star within that region. Alright, okay, so I'm trying to get in the centre. Again, these stars are moved incredibly fast. We'll start the 10 seconds exposure. Okay, let the timer go. I'm constantly moving the RA axis very slowly. I'm not doing a good job of that one. So I might get some trailing with that one. So I've just taken a 10-second shot. It's the most I can do at the moment. Maybe I'll get better at it. Crikey, I forgot my mobile phone to show you. Oh, let me just come back and get my mobile phone. Right, got the mobile phone. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to record what I've got on the screen so that you can see. Yes, it's very sketchy. There's Pleiades there. I can say, despite I didn't do it too well, I've got Pleiades just there. It's actually not bad, actually. Let me just zoom in. Maybe get a closer look. Yeah, there's star trailing. I was expecting that. Yeah, there's definitely star trailing there. Yeah. But yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. I've got all the major stars there in Pleiades. But yeah, that's not bad. And wow, still got star trailing. 10 seconds. I think Capella was the best one I've achieved so far. And again, this is only a single shot. Well, I'll try again on Pleiades and see what I can get, because I'm sure I can do better than that. So I'll just get the RE axis, get my remote, find a star, get it lined up. Okay. Once you got it lined up in the view on the crosshair, you keep tracking it by hand. Okay, that's much better. That's a much better shot. So I'll cancel that. Right, we're going to get to see it now through the mobile phone. Okay, so I'm just going to record that, show you that on my mobile phone. There's Pleiades. We'll then show you that. Alright, that's in live view on. That's my mistake. Oh, man. Why do I do stupid things like that? Right. There we go. That was the last shot. As you can see there, much better. There is a slight hint of trailing, but it's not bad. And we've got all the major stars. It's a nice shot. Yeah, I'm happy with that, yeah. 10 seconds exposure. Okay, we'll be adventurous then. I'm happy with that. So, as you can see, wow, 10 seconds it's doable. What I'll do is I'll try 20 seconds. See if I can get to 20 seconds. This will be interesting. So again, we'll focus on Pleiades again. Oh, I need to start cancelling the shot there. So we'll try 20 seconds and see what we get. So again, get Pleiades back. The live view does help a lot. Find a star. Okay. Get it into the center. Like so. Okay, right, so we've got a star in. Start the exposure. Hold on. Oh man, let me just set the remote to the actual timer. Stupid, man. Just had the star perfectly in that thing. So 20 seconds, right, start that again. Wow, that star moved really fast. Right, I've noticed if you get poor alignment, you know you need to move in one axis. So I'm slowly guiding that star, turning the RA axis, keeping that star for 20 seconds. Wow, this is ninja. Okay, that's 20 seconds. Okay, we've got 20 seconds there. Right. Wow, this is stressful. This is really hard. So, start the recording on my mobile phone, so you can see. So, we'll take a closer look what we've got. We're starting to get a little bit of nebulosity. Wow. 20 seconds. Wow. Oh man. Yeah. That is good. I got some good tracking there. Okay. I'm absolutely impressed with that. So 20 seconds, right? And again, I don't know if you can see that with the remote. It might not show, but there's hold on. Is that 20 seconds? I don't know if the camera picked that up. 20 seconds there. There's 20 seconds I've just done. Okay, we'll do 30 seconds. See how we get on with that. So let's try that. 30 seconds. This is really pushing it. If I get 30 seconds, that is pretty awesome. So I set my timer to 30 seconds, right? So same detail. Back to the main camera. Oh crikey, come on. Right. Back to live view. I think live view is really awesome, really, on the camera. The remote is definitely handy as well. Find a star that's good to track. That one I've just found. You can't see it, it's a real shame. But I've got a star that's really good to track with. So I start my exposure. 30 seconds. Whoa. Whoa. Right, I stopped the thing. 30 seconds, man. That seems like a long time, but it's not. I did good, but the concentration is just immense. Right, so I start recording. Wow, that is immense. So, check that. Wow, that is good. Is that my last one? No, Yeah, that's definitely the last one. And we're starting to get some nebulosity there. There is slight hints of trailing. Wow, that is not bad for 30 seconds. That yellow effect that you get that's obviously from this camera. I don't know why it's appeared like that, but actually it's not that colour. It's definitely, I can see the blue stars and stuff like that on there, but this camera is just showing it like very yellow, and it's not meant to be like that. However, slight trailing, but 30 seconds is definitely wow, it's definitely achievable. It's definitely achievable, guys and girls and everyone. It's yeah, it's I don't think I can go any longer, because the amount of concentration you got to keep that reticle over. Just try and get a star in that reticle and just keep going. It moves very fast, and you're constantly turning, and it's literally very slow, but you've got to keep that constant momentum. All right, you've really got to like figure out which way to go as well. But as you keep turning, as long as you keep within that crosshair, in that center square, keep there for 30 seconds. The concentration you've got to do it's immense. But we have achieved 30 seconds exposure time. It's not a lot. It really is not a lot. And to be honest with you, we're starting to get a bit of hint of nebulosity. Maybe if I up the ISO a little bit more, maybe that will pop up a bit more. But then you're going to sacrifice on your images to be very grainy. And yeah, it's not easy. It really is not easy. What we'll do is we'll wait. I'm going to have dinner, and I'll come back again, showing the same setup again, and then see how we get on. But yeah, 30 seconds, I've done it, but it's not great. I think the last 20 seconds I did was okay. Alright, was much better. Manual guiding, trying to capture a series of images, keeping the same sort of thing. That's going to be a minefield as it is there. It really is. Yeah, this is going to be tough. It really is. So I'm going to have dinner now. Right, guys and girls and everyone, I'm back now. Just had my tea. I've just checked the sky. Pleiades has gone a lot higher, but at the moment Orion, the nebula, is still pretty low. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and do, I think 30 seconds is probably the maximum I can do at the moment. I can't imagine trying to do a minute exposure time focusing on the star for such a long time. A minute is a long time. So what I'll probably be doing is I'll probably do like I'll do like series of 20 seconds exposure time. So I'll set my bulb and see if I can get I'll set my time for 20 seconds on Pleiades, and I'll take I'll take 25 at 20 seconds exposure. Now I will keep this camera recording and see how long I can reach This is not easy. 25 frames for 20 seconds exposure time. See how I get on. This is a tough one. So at the moment, I'll take series of that. The video will be speeded up, okay, to prove that I am doing this. But see how long I can handle it, because this is going to be tough. But hopefully we might get some good results. So 25 frames. Basically, I'll get I'll try and get the I'll try and get a star lined up. Okay. Right, so start my exposure and wish me luck. So I've got a star and I'm taking the shot now. Oh, Oh my god. Oh man. That was only 25 frames. 20 seconds each. I've just completed and I'll show you now. Yeah, so yeah, that's my timer done. All 25 frames there done. What can I say? There's something that I'm so glad, you know, I'm glad I've done this video. It's just it just proves a point that with all this technology we got about auto guiding, the apps we use, the goto, even the even the AI stuff and all that. Don't get me wrong, it really does help. Really does help. But one thing I've learned about this, don't forget, people were doing this method for a long time ago, before auto guiding and all this computer technology came in. Just think about the amount of sheer effort that was involved just to do this. There are many famous astronomers that are taken. I think there's one guy, can't remember his name exactly, it's a scientist. I think he took the Andromeda galaxy, I think using a 100-inch Newtonian, I think, reflector, a huge observatory reflector, and he was taking that for, I think it was a good 2, maybe 3 hours, focusing, using the same methods, the manual guiding by hand on this massive scope. And I think this was in the 1900s it was. And it is an impressive image, but it just shows you that they were doing that method, the exact same method what I'm just doing now. Tracking with the RA, I noticed, like, when I was just tracking on just the star, my eyes were starting to wander, like I was like looking at another star, and I realised, crap, I need to go back to another star. So I had to move the mount slightly to get in line with another star, because focusing through that recticle eyepiece, like, it takes some doing. But you can hear the DSLR taking the shots, and like 20 seconds seems like a long time, and doing 25 frames, I don't know what the images are going to look like, but I think there'll be a fair few mistakes there, and maybe 1 or 2 good ones. Wow, that's made me realise how lucky we are. You know, many years ago they didn't have auto guiders, they didn't have computers. This just shows you that you can do it, but by God, this is very hard, very hard. This is probably the most challenging astrophotography lessons I've ever done. And despite being a clear night, I could have set up another telescope, but doing this is such labour intensive. It really is. It's so labour intensive. The amount of hard work you got to do this. And I'm sacrificing a clear moment just for you, just for everyone out there that's watching. So please hit a like button, because I put a lot of effort into these videos. I'm probably one or two channels are probably based upon this, but I've never seen anyone do this, actually do a video. There may be some older videos on YouTube I can't find. Please, if you know any videos that highlights manual guiding, please highlight it, because this could help me as well. So if there's any videos that you find, alright, just put a link in there obviously in your comments to find out, right, if YouTube allows it, that is, if there's any videos that you find and because it'd be a great asset for me, because I do like to take this again, because it is, even though it's a lot more labour intensive and it's a lot more mentally and physically as well, I appreciate now a lot more now of how hard that is. That really is so hard to do, and I'm glad in a way that I've managed to get 30 seconds, but I'm not pushing 30 seconds. It's way too much. 20 seconds is probably my limit on this existing setup. The refractor, don't get me wrong, is fast. I wouldn't recommend a slow telescope because you'll never get any sort of detail. You've got to use a fast telescope to be able to capture as much data as you can. That is tough. That is really tough. Right then, everyone, I've been targeting Pleiades quite a bit. I'm getting used to the manual guiding a little bit, but still, it's still pretty hard. I'm now going to move over to the California Nebula, another good object to image. The good thing about this deep sky object is that there is a bright star around that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it to ISO 1600, up it up, keep the exposure to 20 seconds. Seems to be a nice little number for me that I'm confident. Not great on the 30 seconds, but 20 seconds seems good, because what it does, I put pauses of 8 seconds, so it gives me a time to just readjust my hand, because when you're twisting the slow motion, your hand starts to get twisted, so it gives you enough time to just settle in, recompose yourself, and then readjust the slow motion control and slightly. So this is going to be a tough one, but again, I'm going to, same detail, do it now while I've got this bright light annoying me, and hope for the best. I get it. Again, Orion Nebula is still pretty low in the sky. I still can't see it. The constellation's not up yet, so I'm going to have to try something else. I did manage to get Andromeda Galaxy, but it's way up, it's really high up, and I was starting to get cramp in my neck and all that because it was so high up. Even with the extension pier, all right, certain angles, yeah, it's really bad. Like, so I'm going to have to go for the California Nebula and see what I get. So just bear with me, because I've got to line up this star here if I can find it. Okay, I've got the star now. So what I'll do now, I've got it in centre, and I'll start the exposure. Okay. Right, I've started the exposure, 20 seconds. Get myself ready. Well, buggered that one up. I'll try again. See what I got. I've got it, but I need to something tells me I need to re-angle the camera, so I'm going to move the camera around. Hopefully that will make a difference, but I've definitely got it. I'll just try that again. See if I reorientate that camera again. The star's helping me though. Just bear with me, just get me a remote. The star is helping me. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a tough one. But again, at least the right. back on it. So we start again. Right then, we've got it. I'll just go and show you now. We've definitely got it, but I'm still not happy with the angle. Something's not quite right. I need to do something there. The star is helping me. Right, let me just start that recording. Using my mobile phone. I wish I could do it any easier way, but I don't. So, got the screen now. I'll just show you now what I've just got. Look at that. And just think. And just think. There it is. Just there. And there's that star was focusing on. So I've definitely got it. You can see the nebulosity there. Right there. It's such a huge target. But I don't know any other way I can get that better, like, but I've definitely got it. And the tracking, we'll zoom in. I've still got tracking errors. But I got it. So wow, 20 seconds and got it like that. I'd be very happy with that result. Extremely happy. That is absolutely fantastic. I wish I could just do better, like, but I need to try and figure out how to angle that camera. Maybe I need to do something with that camera. Maybe I need to rotate it a bit more. So as you can see, I've got it. It's I just need to somehow reorientate that angle a bit better. But I've definitely got it, and you see there, I zoomed in, I got a bit of star trailing, but hey, that's impressive. We managed to get a nebula through manual guiding, and that is something else, isn't it? Really is. I'm absolutely over the moon with that picture, even though it's rubbish. Alright, to me, all that hard work I've just done there, it's paid off. That is a really nice image, that, even though it's tracking errors. It's rubbish, but it's possible. Anyone can do this. Using basic equipment, you can do it, but you've got to be very accurate, slowing. A lot of it is concentration. It's so much, but I managed to get it, and as you saw there, that is impressive. Very good that. Slight trailing. Obviously auto guiding, you won't get that, but here I'm just in it by hand and judgment, and it is a good image. So what I'll do is I'll try and rotate the camera. Maybe I can get more of that detail in there, but I don't think I can. So I'll just rotate it again. Hopefully I'm not adjust the focus. I need to try and get, because I rotate the camera, have I lost my alignment star? Of course I did. Obviously that would just be too easy, wouldn't it? Right, I managed to readjust the Guidescope again using a bright star in line with the main scope, and then readjust this opposite. Wow, that is hard. That really is hard. So basically I need to recenter that star again. Like so. Start the exposure. Okay. Try and go the right way. I will probably mess this frame up again. I need to reorientate myself. I definitely got it this time. Right. Pure concentration now. Okay. Sort out my adjustment. Now, I took a few frames. I'll cancel that. Okay. I took a few frames. I just need to show you now. This one's a lot better, I'm hope. So, I'll recheck again. It's just a real shame I can't like have the camera so you can all see simultaneously. So I'll take a look now. Obviously it's at a slight angle. Just bear with me. Voila. Oh crikey, what happened? Try again. Why is it doing that? Always has to have glitches, don't it? Right, I definitely got it. Just somehow, slight technical hitch. I don't know why. Is it? There we go. Right, there we go. Much better. Zoom in, look at that. We've got it now. That has worked on 20 seconds exposure time, and we've got it. All completely manual guided. We'll just zoom in. Come on, focus. Yeah, we still got trailing. It's like I say, it's okay. I have got it. It looks okay at a distance, but when you zoom in, you can see the star trailing. But hey, what can I say? What can I say? It's just amazing. I mean, manual guiding, it's worked out a treat. It's a real shame that the Orion Nebula is not up yet, and it's, you know, it's on the verge, but I'm not going to be able to see it because it's far too low. But at least we've got a nebula, a fainter nebula, Orion Nebula is a lot, it's a lot brighter, but you can't grumble at that. You really can't. The amount of effort you have to put into to get to that stage. I've got a bit of star trailing, but what can you expect? I'm manual guiding, trying to control the telescope, the camera at the same time, and it's just unbelievable what you can actually achieve. It really is. And like you say, it doesn't help when I've got this bright light here on the camera, but I'm sacrificing showing you guys and girls and everyone what you can do with this setup. It really is. You just got to be very careful when you're moving around as well. You don't want to hit that tripod, because you hit that tripod, you're going to throw off your pole alignment. That pole alignment is definitely crucial. If you knock that tripod, it's all game over. Luckily, fingers crossed, I haven't done that, so I've been quite lucky. And I think that's because the light is also highlighting the tripod legs. So we got some good results from that from that California nebula, using that bright star. I forgot what it is off of the top of the head. I will look it up on the star map what it is, but using that star has helped me navigate. It's literally on the Perseus cluster, so it's right on the edge, just above where the Pleiades are. That's where California Nebula is at. Like, it's literally 3 stars up. You got 2 stars that way, and then it's that star. That's where it is. It is very easy to locate. It's a large target as well, so it's massive, and I can only just fit it through that scope. But luckily, I've got a few frames. What I will do is take some more frames. Like I said, the sky is not playing ball. It's starting to get passing cloud, and it seems to be getting worse as well. So there's a slight cloud haze, so I've got that against me as well. Just typical. But I hope this video has helped you gain a lot of sort of experience of what it entails, this manual guiding.
Well, everyone, what do you reckon? I must admit, manual guiding is very hard to do, to be honest with you. And don't get me wrong, the images that I got were okay, but they weren't great. Now, obviously, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds is not a long time for long exposure. It's a real shame that obviously I wanted to capture more detail on the California nebula, but then the clouds rolled in, so I only managed to get 1 or 2 decent frames, and it wasn't enough to stack it on Deep Sky Stacker. It really isn't. Real shame I couldn't get the Orion Nebula, which is a bit disappointing, but that would have been a very good target to manual guide because it's quite bright. It's a quite bright deep sky object, and it will show up on the camera really well. And you can imagine how Orion Nebula will look even with just 10 seconds exposure time. Doesn't seem a lot, but you'll probably get a lot of the nebulosity, the vivid colours on there with just 10 seconds exposure. And it is very hard to do. Manual guiding has definitely taught me something that now I appreciate what we've got nowadays. The auto guiding, the goto telescopes, some of the software, it really does make things a lot easier. But what I've learned from it, a great deal. Because even despite my images aren't that great, I did manage to stack the M45 Pleiades Nebula, that open star cluster. It was okay, but I still had a lot of tracking errors. The pole alignment does play a massive key role into this setup, and it just depends how well your mount is assembled. The pole alignment, I would say, was pretty good at the time when I was using it on that manual guiding session. What I've learned from it is that it is possible. It's not impossible, but it is possible to do manual guiding with a similar setup like this. I would recommend using a fast scope with fast ratio optics, because that will make your captures stand out a bit more. What I also had to do, because I was taking short exposure times, I was literally had to up the ISO to 1600, which made it a little bit better. Won't make it as much pixelated, but increase the sensitivity on my DSLR camera to capture some of that detail. So overall, it does work, but by God, you need a lot of skill and a lot of patience. And it's taught me a lesson that now I appreciate what we've got. Really does help, makes things a lot easier. And despite those images, they weren't great images, but I would reckon, 20 seconds is a long time to manual guide, particularly if you're moving the RA axis. So 20 seconds is not a lot of time, but when you're focusing through that recticle eyepiece at a fixed star, trying to correct the movements of where it's moving, you're literally turning that RA axis very, very, very slow. And sometimes you have to put a bit of tension to the cable itself to gain that momentum. Another tip that I found was use the timer of your camera. Give yourself some pauses in between. So when you're taking another shot, but after you've taken the last shot and you take another shot, put some pauses in between, like 10 seconds pauses. So that just gives you enough time to readjust the RA axis, get the star in line again, and just get your composure right, ready to go for the next shot. There's times where certain objects in the sky, these knobs might not be very accessible, because you probably have an object on the other side and the RA axis is on the opposite side, and you're trying to reach as far as you can to get to your controls, and that can be very difficult.
Sometimes even with a peer it does help a lot, but again, if you've got targets that are very high up in the sky, you probably might need to sit down and readjust that. So overall, I haven't done too bad. Not great, to be honest with you. I didn't do too great, but it wasn't bad. I did get some results. I was expecting a lot worse. It's a real shame that I couldn't go past 30 seconds. I know people have done manual guiding and they've done even longer times than that. But hey, this is my first time trying this out. Manual guiding is not easy. And I'll give my my best regards to all those people that used to do this, or there are some people that still do this, because it does take a lot of time and patience, and I will get better at it. I am going to try it again, because end of the day I do like new challenges, and it really is way different. And the beauty about it, you don't need no power. The only power that you need is your DSLR camera, obviously for the batteries. That is it. Everything else, it all relies on your skills. How you pole line your setup with your mount, how you set the slow motion, everything is all on you. And it depends on how good how good and accurate you are. Really does reflect on your images. And you make one slight mistake, say like you turn the RE axis the wrong way instead of going the other way where it's meant to be, you can ruin that shot. So that's why I think, for me, taking 10 to 30 seconds exposure time, I think it's more than ample for this setup. If I tried a minute exposure times, I don't think I'm not good enough for that. But I think with practice, maybe I can get to that stage. But to be honest with you, I'm glad I've tried it out. It is a fantastic project to do. It does work. And try it yourself. If you've got a basic setup like this, a conventional EQ mount like this, try it out yourself. Get yourself a second-hand refractor, a cheap refractor. You know, it could be a long tube or a short tube like this one, but like any short focus refractor with scope rings, and then get yourself that recticle eyepiece, and then get some slow motion controls for your mount and try it out. Maybe it will work out for you, maybe it wouldn't, but you're not wasting money in the long run, because what you've got to think about is you're still going to use slow motion controls anyway, regardless. You know, they are handy to have. And the recticle eyepiece that you get, that's really good if you're doing star alignment. So if you've got a go-to mount, the recticle eyepiece is very good for go-to. You know, you line up your alignment stars with your rectical eyepiece, and you know, you can get really good star alignment from that. So in theory, it is, you know, you do have to spend a bit of money, but it's not actually that bad. It's much cheaper than trying to buy. The only thing you probably need to buy is an Astro camera, like a DSLR. But any decent DSLR you can buy second hand, you know, as long as it's enough, it's got the bulb setting or manual setting where you can time the exposure times. You know, even up to 30 seconds will be enough. Alright, a basic DSLR camera will do the job. You don't have to have it modified or whatever, but a decent second-hand DSLR, you can pick them up anywhere. I mean, look at the 600D that I got, the Canon 600D. Fantastic camera for, I've used it all the time, and it really does amazes me how good that camera performs. And like I say, I did get some good results of the images, but it's a real shame I couldn't stack more images of the California Nebula. But I was saying that, despite that 20 seconds exposure time, I did get the California Nebula on the camera, and it really is spectacular. What can you achieve with really modest equipment like this? This is literally basic as you can get it. A basic EQ mount and just using your hand. That is proper skill, and if you can do that, you know, it just shows you how good you really are. And the best thing about it, the beauty about it, is
Yes, there's a lot of people who say go for goto telescopes, you should have a motor drive or whatever, or smart telescopes, but the thing is you're still relying on computers, and the whole aim of this project was to move away from computer technology and AI technology, all that stuff that, yes, it really does help us get along into this hobby, but I wanted to change, I wanted a challenge, and that is a very hard challenge to do, but it's not impossible to do, and anyone can do it. Try out these accessories that I used. Please use this video as a guide. If you want to undertake manual guiding, feel free, try it out yourself. Who knows how well your images might turn out. Again, mine weren't great, but they were better than nothing, and I showed that with my live imaging session, which I always like to share. Yes, my videos are long, but they're not staged, and that's the thing. A lot of people want quick videos and fancy stuff, but sometimes in a real astrophotography session like that, it is long, hard, and it's a tough challenge trying to manual guide. It really is a challenge, really is. But please feel free to use this video as a guide and try it out yourself. Manual guiding. I have provided some links below of the list of products that have been shown, and I've also provided some links with the information based upon manual guiding. Again, there's not much information out there, but it is out there, and if you find something else that you see, please share it out to everyone else in the community, because manual guiding, it is a skill that anyone can use or anyone can do on a budget. Particularly on a budget, you can achieve amazing results, and with equipment like this, I must admit, it is hard to do, but it's not impossible to do. And that's what I'm trying to say to you guys, girls and everyone, that even though I've stepped backwards away from the technology, the computer technology that we've got, I really wanted to try this out, and I'm glad in the way I've done it, and I've got some decent results. Not brilliant, but decent. I've got some good results. But apart from that, if you like watching this video, please hit a like button. And again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe onto this channel. Also, don't forget to hype this video. Very important if you do that, because basically it pushes my video out to beat the algorithm on YouTube. And it just makes this video stand out a bit more. Alright, just press the hype button down below, and it just helps to push out this video out more. Right, and share this idea of manual guiding, because believe it or not, there are not many, I can't find any videos out there on YouTube that's based upon manual guiding. It is such a rare skill and talent that can be done, and I've proven it. All right, how it does, it can work out. But again, I had, like I say, not great sky conditions, and it's a real shame I couldn't get the Orion Nebula, because that would have been an awesome target to manual guide. And again, I might try it out again, but I must admit, it does work, manual guiding. And like I say, share this video out. Sharing this video out based on manual guiding will probably help many others try and do this project themselves. Feel free, good luck by all means, but try it out. And with that, don't forget to hit the notifications tab by selecting the bell, select all, and then I'll keep you informed for any new projects coming out very, very soon, which I have still got a lot of things to go through. So apart from that, if you want a manual guide, feel free. Good luck, because it's not easy. So thanks again, thanks for watching, and I wish you all clear skies.